So this problem I think is written in a slightly confusing way. So just don't get overwhelmed by all these A, B, C, and D's and all these variables and stuff. It's not that complicated. So we're taking a look and we're told that, okay, we have just some cubic equation up here. Doesn't matter what it is, and we're told that A, B, C, and D are constants. So, okay, so it's just some equation with these being coefficients and one constant. Cool. We're told that the equation has roots, -1, -3, and 5. That means the equation crosses the x-axis at -1, -3, and 5. Okay? So roots are the same as zeros, right? So which of the following is a factor of this? So if we are told that these are roots, which of the following can be a factor of this equation? So let's just quickly think back to an analogy of using a quadratic, right? So when we factor a quadratic, we get, these kind of things in parentheses, set equal to 0, and then we set each of the factors individually equal to 0 to see where it crosses the x-axis, right? So what does that mean? So that means we basically did the same thing here. This is just x to the 3, so it has 3 factors instead of 2. So what this means is that this equation was factored into something that gave you x equals -1, x equals -3, and x equals 5. So let's take a look at these one by one real quick. So if this was a factor, that means you need to set this equal to 0, right? So it'd be x minus 1 equal to 0. Add 1 on both sides, that gets x equals 1. Is x equaling 1 a root or a 0? No, it's not. So a is out. Do you see how I'm working through this here? So b, x plus 1 is equal to 0. If this was a factor, that would mean that you would have a root at x equals -1, which we actually do. So I think b is the answer here, but let's check the rest. Here you have x minus 3 is equal to 0, so x equals 3. So if this was a factor, you'd have a 0 at 3, which we don't. And here it would be x equals -5. Do we have a factor at a 0 or root at -5? No, we don't. So B is our answer. Again, don't get overwhelmed by all the variables here, all the A, B, C, Ds that you don't know. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters when you're doing sort of roots or factors like this is that just know that when you factor something like this, each factor, if it's set equal to 0, each factor set equal to 0 will give you a solution of x. What does that solution of x represent? It represents where the graph crosses the x-axis. So those are called zeros and roots. So B is our answer.